Hey everybody, Mr. Seward here, and today we're going to take a look in our architecture class at the first kind of major project that we're going to do. As a matter of fact, this project in its entirety is going to take us through to the end of the second quarter. So, beginning that we're starting this during the first week of the uh, first quarter, or excuse me, the last week of the first quarter, it's quite a long project. Excuse me. So I'm right now on the Google Classroom, and it tells you on here that I posted an assignment, Habitat for Humanity Design, on there. So I'm going to go to the word classwork here at the top, and this is the assignment, and it says that there's no due date for this yet because this is preliminary work that we have to do before we start actually designing our houses. It says today we're going to begin to design a 3-bedroom house for an organization named Habitat for Humanity. So we're going to take a look at a PowerPoint here in a couple seconds about affordable housing and what Habitat for Humanity is. Some of you may already know it. I ran across a student last year, I think it was, that had actually participated in some activities on Habitat for Humanity houses. So anyways, it's a great organization. President Jimmy Carter was very much involved with it. He probably still is, but he's very old now. But he was very active in actually building and refurbishing houses, stuff like that for Habitat for Humanity. So when we get done with that, we're going to take a look at what they call the new construction guidelines. And these are files that are attached to this Google Classroom post that we have here. So let's see. I'm going to scroll down here. And first one we're going to look at is this guy right here. It's 2.3.1.p, affordable housing design. So let's open that up. I'm going to bring that up here, and I'll push F5 so that this might not work for me here. Well, I guess it might. I'm not sure that there's any real serious difference here. Anyways, so what is Habitat for Humanity International? Habitat for Humanity International seeks to eliminate poverty, housing, and homelessness from the world and to make decent shelter a matter of conscious and action. Okay. Habitat invites people from all backgrounds, all races, and religions to build houses together in partnership with families in need. There's nearly 2 billion people around the world that live in slum housing and more than 100 million people that are homeless. Families left homeless by natural disasters, war, civil unrest often face dire housing situations as they struggle to rebuild their lives. Currently, in Haiti, they've had a couple major not hurricanes. In Haiti, they've had a couple major earthquakes that have just flat out destroyed major parts of that country. And it's a very poor country, and people are just not able to rebuild good housing for themselves. Okay. Let's see. So in 2014, Habitat built more than 300,000 houses in more than 70 countries around the world, providing more than 1.6 million people a safer place to live. Since Habitat was founded in 1976 by Millard and Linda Fuller, more than 5 million people have been served in terms of getting housing. I know that in Lockport, New York, the Habitat in Lockport builds a house. I'm not sure if they build a house every year or not, but they start from the ground up and build a house. Where I live in Batavia, Habitat rehabilitates houses. They repair them and bring them up to code and make them look very much nicer than what they actually started out with. Their international headquarters is located in Atlanta, Georgia. That's probably a lot of the reason why President Jimmy Carter is involved with them, because Mr. Carter was from Georgia. Anyway, they're gonna provide information, training, and a variety of other support services to Habitat affiliates worldwide. Houses that are built through volunteer labor and donations of money and materials. So people that are working at the houses, for the great majority of them, are uh, uh, volunteers. The Habitat in Batavia, I do know, has a, uh person who's a professional carpenter, I believe, that does work full time for Habitat, but for the most part, everybody is coordinated in terms of coming and going to work. In Batavia, I know they work on Wednesdays and Saturdays on whatever house they're working at. Habitat builds and rehabilitates simple and decent and affordable houses with the help of homeowner. They call them the partner families. In other words, they're putting in sweat equity into the house that they're going to be living in. And then they are expected to do the same for the next house. That's what Habitat would like them to do. Habitat houses are sold to partner families at no profit and are financed with affordable loans. The homeowner's monthly mortgage payments, they are used to build additional Habitat houses. So they keep rolling the money back into the system. It's not a giveaway program. So in addition to making a down payment and the monthly mortgage payments, homeowners invest hundreds of hours of their own labor, their sweat equity, into building their Habitat house and the houses of others. So the first Habitat house was built outside of Georgia and was completed in 1979 in San Antonio, Texas. And more than half of all Habitat houses are built outside of the United States, many in developing nations. And the type of house differs depending upon the region and the needs of the people that are involved in this process. Um, they have, like in this upper left-hand picture, attached units where the houses are built. They call them row houses in cities sometimes. That's where land is very expensive. You also could have a very basic house like this one in the upper right hand side. They say that this is a 2-bedroom unit. You're going to be designing a 3-bedroom house, by the way. In colder climates like where we live, you have a large advantage in having south facing windows. My house has south facing windows, and I have rooms in my house that are on the south side that are very, very much warmer than the stuff that's on the north side, the rooms that are on the north sides. And they build energy efficiency into the houses also. So there'll be insulation, uh, thermal windows, all kinds of stuff of that nature, things that we're going to learn about as the next few weeks go on. Habitat house cost as little as $500 in some developing countries, but generally average between $3,000 and $5,000. In the United States, between $50,000 and $80,000. This PowerPoint was written in the early 2000 teens, like 2014-ish. So I'm going to guess that those numbers have inflated since then, probably even more so in just the last year. The average length of a Habitat mortgage is 20 years. So, Energy Star. Since 1995, Habitat for Humanity International has partnered with the Florida Solar Energy Center and Department of Energy's Building America program to introduce thousands of houses that are energy efficient, that are durable, and provide healthy indoor air quality. The Better Built program. The Better Built program incorporates the best practices adapted by Habitat's former network, the Green Team. The principles of the Better Built program remain the same, highlighting energy efficiency, healthy, and environmentally friendly building processes. Material conservation is something else that Habitat is very much interested in. It's the Habitat's intention to resource efficiently starts with the house design and by promoting a building technique known as optimized value engineering. Habitat encourages its affiliates to build houses using designs that are going to use less lumber and introduce, or excuse me, not introduce, but reduce material waste. So let's exit out of this, escape out of this, and minimize this. So the next thing that we need to look at, now that we know what Habitat for Humanity is we're going to take a look at this document right here. It's 2.3.1. This is what's called the New Construction Guidelines. So I'm going to open this up. And we're going to talk about these guidelines for Habitat for Humanity. So first of all, Habitat, every house has to conform to relevant codes that are requirements of a city or a jurisdiction in which the house is built. They have to pay attention to those codes. Um, for instance, setbacks are something you're going to learn about. Setbacks are how far away components of a house have to be from the edges of the property. Um, could be other codes like electrical codes saying that you have to have per length of a wall in a house, you have to have so many outlets per wall. There's all kinds of different building codes, structural materials. You have to have a particular size of structural uh, materials. There's a house that was built a few years ago here, pretty close to where I live, that has not been able to get what's called its C of O, certificate of occupancy. Nobody can live in that house because there is something wrong with the structure. They did not build it. Maybe the structure said they were supposed to use 2x8 floor joists, and instead they used 2x6s. Well, guess what? You can't live in it if it's unsafe. So, anyways, uh, you have to pay attention to building codes. We will talk about business code or building codes in the near future. The principle of habitat: each house is going to conform in principle, to the Habitat for Humanity standard of simple and decent, and deviating from that standard only as it may be necessary. This means that HFH will seek to avoid the creeping affluence that tends to increase amenities and cause prices of habitat houses to be inflated, and the pre-unit costs of houses will be kept low to enable more families to be served and more houses to be built. Translation: if your kitchen countertop is fine with a $500 piece of laminate on the counters, they're not going to advocate that you should put a $4,000 piece of granite on the counter rather than that $500 piece of uh, laminate. And that's the creeping affluence that Habitat is desirous to actually not have. Size of the house. So, we are going to be building a 3-bedroom house that is not to exceed 1,100 square feet. Now, what I do tell students is as they're building our houses or designing them, you can have a 10% plus or minus that value uh, size wise. So you can go over 1,100 square feet by 10%, or you can go under it by 10%, but you have to be in that neighborhood with your measurements. And I will be able to see those on your drawings as we go through. Following is about the types of construction. First, the following describes the type of construction and components that are going to be used. The basement is going to be a crawl space. Crawl spaces are generally 4 feet deep. That's the preferred choice. Partial basements, 8 feet deep, depending on where you are and the soil types, will be used. Where there is a basement required, access will be provided from the interior and the exterior of the house, actually. Foundation drainage is going to be provided. So the only thing so far that you have to be too worried about is just knowing that you need to have a crawl space, not a full basement. We're not going to do a full basement. Your exterior wood frame wall construction will consist of fully sheathed 2x6 construction. Your roof pitch is going to be approximately 5x12 with gable ends. So you don't have to have a hip roof or hip and valley or any of that kind of stuff. You're going to be required just to have a simple gable roof. There will be no garages or carports also on our house. Accessibility is also important here in Habitat for Humanity and in general for everybody. The following describes the accessibility provisions to be incorporated in houses. Houses will be constructed to conform to standards of minimal accessibility to better and must meet the following requirements. An accessible entrance with a porch or an overhang. So your front door has to have some sort of a porch or overhang on it. Passage doors, including the full bathroom, will be 36 inches wide. This has to do with a lot with the Americans with Disabilities Act, ADA, specifications. That's for people that are wheelchair bound. A friend of mine, she's since passed away. She was wheelchair bound, and she didn't live in a house that had these kinds of standards when it was built. And she had banged up matter of fact, I think her husband had just taken all the woodwork off the door frames and stuff because she was just running into it all the time with her wheelchair, and it was very dinged up. Secondary doors, like secondary bathroom doors, it's not the primary bathroom, but like a half bath, that can be a 32-inch wide door because the person that's in a wheelchair most likely isn't going to use that bathroom. Hallways need to be 42 inches minimum frame to frame. So when you are designing your houses and you're looking at a wall or a hallway, it has to be 42 inches wide. I've seen older houses where people put bookcases in their hallways and stuff like that, and it just shrinks the size of your passageway down severely, which inhibits your ability to exit the house in case of a fire or something like that. Your kitchen is going to be designed to permit wheelchair maneuverability. That means that if a person is to roll into the kitchen in a wheelchair, there has to be a 5-foot diameter open area so that they can turn their wheelchair and reverse out of the kitchen. So that is important. The bathroom. You need to have at least one full bathroom. Full bathroom means you have a toilet, you have a sink, and you have a bathtub / shower in the house. Okay, that is one full bathroom. Your bathtub has to have a clear floor space along its length. In other words, you can't have the toilet right next to the bathtub. The person in a wheelchair has to be able to roll up to that bathtub. The bathroom has to have a 5-foot diameter open area for that person in a wheelchair to be able to rotate around. And the toilet has to be located in a 5-foot deep by 3-foot wide minimum. 5x5 would be even better. Clear space with the toilet centered 18 inches from any sidewall, cabinet, or tub. If you've ever sat on a toilet and felt like you were constrained, it was because from the center of the toilet to the wall on either side, probably you didn't have 18 inches. So make sure you pay attention to that. This is a very nice document right here. Let's see. This is for the Center for Universal Design, has published a bathroom design sheet that provides 5 sample bathroom plans that meet accessibility standards. So in your browser, you can type the NCQAP bathroom text sheet, type this in. I wonder how this will work with me doing this. Let's see. Let's see if I can get this real quick just to show it to you. Boom, boom. This might be it. Yeah, this is it. This is actually a pretty nice document. And you might want to use this as the basis for your bathroom design. So you can see that circle is a 5-foot turning diameter for a person that's in a wheelchair. This is the 5 by 5-ish area. You have a nearly 9-foot bathroom. You have a sink right here for someone to be able to roll up to. This is a shower, wheelchair shower. I suppose if you prefer to do that, then the full bath with the bathtub, that's perfectly satisfactory. So this is a sample bathroom. There's one. This is a isometric drawing of that same bathroom. Here's another set of these. I think there's 5 of them all together. Yeah, there is. There's 5 different ones. So depending on how your house lays out, you might want to keep this drawing in mind as you're going through this. So I encourage you to use this document. You can borrow the information that's there. It's not a problem. Insulation. Your wood frame construction shall include insulation per the residential code requirements. We're going to build that stuff into our wall. I'll show you how to set up the wall in another video, like you did for the shed, but this is a little bit more involved because it has inside and outside surfaces. Doors and hardware. The following describes doors and hardware to be provided. You're going to have 2 steel-clad insulated doors on the front of the house, one on the front and one on the back. They are to be 3 feet, which is 36 inches wide. The primary entrance door should be a 6-panel door with a half moon light or similar. I'm not sure that door is actually available in our... Oh, that's nice. I can actually highlight stuff like that. Yeah, interesting. I'm not sure that this door is available in our software anymore, but definitely what you can do is you could go to a door manufacturer's website, and they all have models or families, like Revit families, like you found for doors and windows in our shed design or shed building, that will work. You can insert them into your home. It's really kind of a cool thing to do, not just to use the canned ones, but to use something that you had to go out and find. The bathroom. Oh, windows. I skipped windows. So following is about windows. All windows should be white vinyl single hung. You can find that, I'm sure, in our windows on Revit. Every bedroom should have at least one window and meet minimum egress requirements as required by code. That means that they can only be a particular height off the ground, because you have to be able to crawl out of them in a fire situation. The kitchen and kitchen/dining room will have at least 2 windows, or 1 double and 1 single window. These are all things that are going to be evaluated in the rubric for you when you turn the drawings in for this to me. Bathroom. Let's see about the bathrooms. Well, a full bathroom has to be accessible. So that's the 36-inch door with a 5-foot turning diameter. 3-bedroom house is going to have 1.5 baths. So you have the full bath that has a tub/shower/roll-in shower, sink and toilet. And then a half bath is going to have just a sink and a toilet in it. It won't have anything else like a shower or anything of that nature in it. You need to provide a linen closet, and that is going to be uh, built in, hopefully, into the bathroom. Uh, my home does not have a linen closet in the bathroom, and it doesn't even have a linen closet that is reasonably close to the bathroom. And it's inconvenient, to be honest with you. We do have a linen closet, it's just not where it's convenient. Let's see. Heating, ventilation, and air conditioning, HVAC, washer and dryer, and plumbing. Next up is about those things. You need to put a 52-gallon water heater in. Um, if you can find the symbols for a continuous value or continuous hot water heater, and you want to do that, you can. There are water heaters in the Revit software. Let's see, an area should be provided for the installation of a clothes washer and dryer. And we do have those in Revit also, washers and dryers. Lighting, the following describes lighting. Ceiling light fixtures for incandescent lights shall be provided in all rooms. Incandescent lights are a thing of the past, they're all LEDs, but I think Revit still calls them incandescent lights. Those are just regular old light bulbs. A single LED switched figure should be installed in each closet. So your closet in your house has to have a light in it. Oh, a little story quick about my house. When I was a kid growing up, my mom had a dress or a skirt or something. I can't remember. I think she called it a pole skirt. It wrapped around a dowel, wooden dowel, and she had it up in the top in the closet in her bedroom, and somehow it had rolled forwards or something like that, and the bedroom light got left on. And if you know anything about those incandescent bulbs, they get hot. And actually, we walked in there one day, and I don't know exactly why it was noticed. I don't remember who even noticed, if it was me or my mom or my dad or one of my sisters or whatnot. But what had actually happened is that that skirt had rolled forwards, and it was sitting up against the light, and it actually had charred the skirt material, because it you know we were fortunate that it didn't burn the house down, to be honest with you. LEDs don't do that. There's not a problem. You can have a LED turned on for 3 years, walk up to it and unscrew it from a socket happily. Yeah, LEDs in all rooms. That has to be in the closet, and you have to have a switch for it outside of the closet. An LED lights fixture shall be installed over the sinks in the bathroom and in the kitchen, and porches and entrance areas should have LED exterior light fixtures. So that's the conclusion of the construction guidelines. You're going to need to refer back to this. When I get back to school, I will probably get this printed up for you so that you have access to this easy, but it is on this Google Classroom post. We'll cover the next things in another video, but this is a good introduction for you. Okay, thank you.